And now, the secrets behind the Jack Benny program. My name's Estee. I love old black and white TV shows and movies. Come and join me as we take a trip down memory lane and find out all the scoops. The Jack Benny program, a long running radio and TV comedy series featuring Jack Benny, is widely recognized as one of the greatest American comedy series of all time. Wouldn't you agree? He caricatured himself throughout radio and television as often a penny pincher, but also an untalented musician, and he made himself the butt of all the jokes. However, then he was a very talented violinist, and he created the appearance of being a lousy one by trying to play performances and compositions that were beyond his ability level, rather than playing them poorly. So just know this, that he was such a talented violinist, but he used that as a gag, and that self-deprecating humor is why we love him. While Benny is playing in the Pacific, two Japanese troops surrendered to him. All the other enemies took their own lives rather than bear listening to Benny's horrible music, and this was one of the show's running gags. Shopping for Christmas, this always gets our family laughing. The annual Christmas shopping segment of the Jack Benny program became a famous tradition in which Benny would go to the local department store to buy gifts. For Don Wilson, Benny would get a very inexpensive Christmas gift from Mel Blanc's frantic store employee. Do you remember that? Benny would then repeatedly exchange the present with Blanc, eventually driving him insane. In the 1946 Christmas episode, for example, Benny can't decide if he should buy Don's shoelaces with plastic or metal tips for Wilson. Mel Blanc can be heard yelling at the top of his lungs after switching them many times. Plastic tips are a must-have. Metal tipped, I can't stand it anymore. And of course, Mel Blanc was the man of 1,000 voices with Bugs Bunny and so much more. When Blanc repeatedly changed the greeting card in his wallet, he shouted, "I haven't run into anyone like this in 20 years. Oh, why did the governor have to give me that pardon?" The Fred Allen Rivalry. By parodying Fred Allen's broadcast on April 5th, 1936, Benny had begun this legendary radio rivalry, and it spilled over. On December 30th, 1936, on his own program, Allen sparked the dispute between himself and a certain false victorious violinist after a young violinist, Stuart Cannon, successfully performed the B, plausibly enough for Allen to joke about a certain reputed violinist. Having seen Allen perform, Benny responded in kind on his own program on January 3rd, 1937, and the two comedians were off to a flying start. It was so convincing that fans of either program might have forgiven for thinking that they had been blood foes for almost a decade of slugging it out. In actuality, the two guys were close friends who shared a deep affection for one another. Over the course of their long-running conflict, Benny and Allen appeared on each other's radio shows multiple times, both as recognized guests and as cameos. Many of the episodes have been preserved. Allen thanked Benny for giving him a Christmas tree one year, but he also revealed that the tree had perished in the meanwhile. The tree is in Brooklyn and the sap is in Hollywood, so, well, what do you expect? Remarked Allen. As we said, in real life, the two were very good friends. I hope you enjoyed this time making friends with me, Estee, and taking this trip down memory lane with Jack.